Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the journey of quest where we quench your thirst of knowledge. Have you ever wondered how climate change and rising sea levels could reshape our world? It's a question that may have crossed your mind as we increasingly hear about these global issues. The shift in climate and the rising waters are not just phenomena of the present, they have been occurring throughout the history of our planet. But what does it all mean? In this video, we'll explore how climate and sea levels have changed over different timescales and what that could mean for our future. Climate change is not a new phenomenon. It has been happening for millions of years. Let's take a step back and look at our planet's climatic past. The Earth's climate has been a symphony of change, a dance of fluctuating temperatures and atmospheric conditions played out over geological timescales. Scorching hothouse periods have given way to icy snowball Earths and back again. These natural climate fluctuations have been a part of our planet's history since its inception, painting a tapestry of ever-changing environments. Now you might wonder, what were the conductors of these climate variations? The answer lies in a multitude of natural factors, each playing their own part in this orchestra of change. Solar radiation, for instance, has been a key player. The sun is our primary source of heat, and even slight variations in its energy output can have significant effects on our climate. During periods of heightened solar activity, the Earth warms up, while periods of decreased activity can lead to cooling and even ice ages. Volcanic activity, too, has played its role. Major eruptions can spew vast amounts of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, causing temporary warming, but they also release tiny particles called aerosols that can reflect sunlight back into space, leading to a cooling effect. And let's not forget about the Earth's orbit. Our planet doesn't circle the sun in a perfect circle, it's more of an elliptical path. Plus, the tilt of our planet on its axis changes over time. These orbital variations, known as Milankovitch cycles, can greatly influence the distribution of sunlight across the Earth and consequently our climate. But here's the thing. While our planet has weathered these natural climate shifts for eons, what we're seeing today is different. The current rate of climate change is ramping up at a pace that's simply unprecedented. It's like we've cranked the volume up on that symphony and it's blaring out a warning signal loud and clear. However, the rate of current climate change is unprecedented and illustrates a new chapter in Earth's climatic history. Just as our climate has changed over time, so too have our planet's sea levels. Imagine the Earth as a living, breathing entity, its heartbeat marked by the rhythmic rise and fall of sea levels over millions of years. This ebb and flow is not random, nor is it static. It is the result of myriad factors interacting and influencing each other in a dance as old as the planet itself. To truly comprehend this dance, we must journey back through geological epochs to a time when dinosaurs roamed the Earth and the planet was in the throes of an ice age. Sea levels were significantly lower then, as vast quantities of water were locked up in ice sheets and glaciers. But as the ice age receded and the planet warmed, these icy reservoirs melted and the seas began to rise. This sequence of freezing and thawing, of sea levels falling and rising, has been repeated countless times throughout Earth's history. But each cycle is different, influenced by a variety of factors such as the distribution of continents, ocean currents, and atmospheric composition. A key player in this dance of the seas is the Ice Age cycle, which is driven by changes in Earth's orbit and tilt. These shifts alter the amount and distribution of sunlight reaching the planet, triggering periods of cooling and warming. During the ice ages, sea levels fall as water is stored in ice sheets. When the planet warms, the ice melts and sea levels rise. There's a certain rhythm to these changes, a slow, gradual beat that spans tens of thousands of years. But this rhythm is being disrupted. The pace of recent sea level rise is quickening, driven by human-induced climate change. The glaciers are melting faster, the seas are rising quicker, and the rhythm of the Earth's heartbeat is growing increasingly erratic. But just as with climate change, the pace of recent sea level rise is unlike anything we've seen in the past. We stand on the precipice of an uncertain future, one in which the rhythm of the seas may change forever. In the past century, human activities have accelerated climate change and sea level rise to a pace never before seen in Earth's history. It's a stark reality that's impossible to ignore. But how did we get here? Our planet's climate is a complex system, influenced by a multitude of factors. However, the rapid changes we've seen over the past 100 years can largely be attributed to one thing: greenhouse gas emissions. These gases, primarily carbon dioxide and methane, trap heat from the sun in our atmosphere, leading to a rise in global temperatures. This process, often referred to as global warming, is a major driver of climate change. The burning of fossil fuels for electricity, heat, and transportation is the largest single source of global greenhouse gas emissions. Deforestation, industrial processes, and some agricultural practices also contribute to greenhouse gas levels. These human activities have led to a concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that is higher than at any point in the last 800,000 years. So how does this tie into sea level rise? The connection is twofold. First, as global temperatures increase, so does the temperature of the sea. Warmer water takes up more space than cooler water, a phenomenon known as thermal expansion. This alone causes the sea level to rise. Secondly, higher temperatures lead to the melting of ice caps and glaciers. This meltwater flows into the oceans, further increasing sea levels. In fact, the rate at which Greenland and Antarctica are losing ice is accelerating, contributing significantly to global sea level rise. The consequences of these changes could be catastrophic if we don't take action. Coastal cities could be inundated, habitats could be destroyed, and millions of people could be displaced. It's a future we have the power to prevent, but it requires us to acknowledge the role we've played in accelerating climate change and sea level rise, and to take decisive action to mitigate these effects. So what does the future hold for our changing climate and rising seas? Based on current trends, the outlook is sobering. Scientists predict that if greenhouse gas emissions continue at their current rate, global temperatures could rise by up to 4 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. This rise in temperature is not just about hotter summers, it's about dramatic shifts in weather patterns, leading to more extreme weather events such as storms, droughts, and heat waves. As for our oceans, they're not just getting warmer, they're also rising. The melting polar ice caps and the thermal expansion of seawater could result in a global sea level rise of up to 1 meter by the year 2100. That's enough to submerge many coastal cities and displace millions of people worldwide. Now, these predictions may seem overwhelming, but they're not a reason to despair. They're a call to action. The future is not set in stone. We have the power to change the course of climate change and sea level rise. That's where mitigation and adaptation strategies come in. Mitigation involves reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. This can be achieved through a shift to renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency, and reforestation efforts. Every tree planted, every solar panel installed, every energy-efficient building constructed contributes to a lower carbon future. Adaptation, on the other hand, involves preparing for the changes that are already underway. This could mean building seawalls to protect coastal cities, developing drought-resistant crops, or planning for the relocation of communities at risk of sea level rise. These strategies are not just about saving the environment, they're about safeguarding our communities, our economies, our health, and our future. They require global cooperation, innovative thinking, and a commitment to sustainable development. As we stand at this critical juncture, let's remember, the choices we make today, the actions we take, the policies we implement, all have a direct impact on the world of tomorrow. It's clear that the decisions we make today will shape the climate and sea levels of tomorrow. In this video, we've taken a journey through time to understand how our climate and sea levels have changed. We've seen how Earth's climate has always been in flux, but the current rate of change is unprecedented. From the past to the present and into the future, it's clear that our actions have a profound impact. The rising sea levels are a stark reminder that we need to act responsibly. As we face the challenges of climate change and sea level rise, we must remember that our choices today will determine the world of tomorrow. Thanks for watching us share our videos, subscribe our YouTube channel, and press the bell icon and stay curious for new uploads.